Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Manchester City are Premier League champions after Arsenal's defeat to Nottingham Forest today. We obviously knew last weekend that City were very much in the ascendancy. We knew that City needed 3 points from their remaining 3 games to secure the Premier League title. It also meant that Arsenal couldn't mess up anymore in the hopes that maybe some sort of miracle did happen and maybe City did go on to lose or at least not accumulate the points needed to secure the Premier League title. But Arsenal lose again today. Nottingham Forest were the opponents. Forest have hit the final nail in Arsenal's coffin for their Premier League title hopes and aspirations this season. What a performance by Nottingham Forest. It means not only do Forest survive in the Premier League for this season, not only do they keep their heads above water and survive Premier League relegation, which is a video in itself that I'm going to be producing and putting out tomorrow. We're going to be talking all about Nottingham Forest for this season in another video. That's going to go a little bit under the radar. And as you can hear, my housemate is very happy with that news. But yeah, it means Forest survive. That's going to be another video for another day. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. But obviously the big plot here, the big story here is that Manchester City have officially won the Premier League title, making it 3 Premier League titles in a row for Pep Guardiola's side. Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible, phenomenal stuff by Guardiola's side to obviously take the headlines today, but obviously to win the Premier League title and obviously win it for the past, what is it now? What is it, like five times out of 6 seasons now, 3 on the bounce, something along those lines. Phenomenal stuff. And of course, the season isn't over for Manchester City because obviously there's still the FA Cup to go. There's still the FA Cup to go between them and their City rivals, Manchester United. There is still the Champions League final, of course, with Inter Milan that is on the horizon as well. This Pep Guardiola side, this Manchester City side are on the verge of making some absolute phenomenal history this season. And this is seemingly just the beginning. It means they can now turn their attentions completely to those games. They don't have to go as gung-ho, shall we say, in their final 3 games of this season. I'm sure Erling Haaland will still want to try and score as many goals as possible between now and the end of the campaign. And just all it means is that Guardiola is just going to have to try and keep things ticking over for his squad to obviously get to the more important games as of right now, the 2 finals that are yet to come this campaign. Before I go any further, I would like to remind you to please like the video, like and subscribe on the live stream as well. Both things are always incredibly greatly appreciated. Also for you guys to get involved in the comment section. I'm sure your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for interesting reading in the comment section because I'm sure there's a lot of City fans right now that will be very happy, very jubilant over what their side has accomplished this season. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. First and foremost by City. It's been a slightly different season for them. They've had to do a bit of chasing for the most part, but when it mattered most and when the running finally kicked in, City once again just found that extra gear. They found that extra energy, that extra boost that they needed to just go from strength to strength. And it really told that they were the more experienced team in this running than this Arsenal side. This Arsenal side, don't get me wrong, they deserve a ton of credit for what they have achieved this season and from what they've obviously gone on to try and put the pressure on for Manchester City. But it just told that their young squad just couldn't handle the pressure when it mattered most. Collapses against Liverpool, collapses against West Ham, going 3-1 down against Southampton and pretty much already relegated Southampton by that point is just unforgivable. And obviously that told come the end of the campaign. Yes, Arsenal would have had to have been pretty much perfect and obviously had to have taken points off of Manchester City in the run-in to have obviously got to a point where they were able to put even more pressure on City and to obviously go a step ahead of them. But overall, like, That's what you need to do if you're to beat this Man City side. That is overall what you are meant to do to beat this Man City side. You're going to have to be near enough perfect. Not give them a sniff, not give them a chance. And obviously Arsenal towards the end of this campaign have faltered and they've messed up and they've shown their inexperience, I guess. It's a learning curve for Arsenal that they can either learn from completely and bounce back for next season and start maybe winning some more trophies, or they wilter away and they fall away and they don't learn from this. And it's a mental scar on them that they did lead for so long, but City were just too good and they couldn't handle the pressure. That's obviously going to be interesting to note for future reference. As far as what today goes, it was another one of those games that was poor on Arsenal's part. They should have done better. They could have done better. But don't let it take away from the fact that Nottingham Forest were amazing today. They were brilliant today, in my opinion. I thought Awoniyi was brilliant in leading the line. I thought he gave Gabriel an absolute torrid time. I thought Morgan Gibbs-White, his kind of partner in crime a little bit, grew more and more influential in the game and was probably unlucky not to have got a goal himself. Probably should have done better with a couple of the opportunities that were presented before him, but his work rate was brilliant, and some of his play and build-up play was very, very good. But the whole Forest backline was solid. The midfield was solid. They had a game plan and they executed it to perfection. And really, Keylor Navas didn't really have anything really much to do in goal, to be honest. He didn't really have much of a save to make, I guess you'd say, because of how well his defence was set up in front of him. And I thought it was a brilliant defensive display from Nottingham Forest. Like I say, I thought they set up really well. They had a very good game plan that they executed very well. And like I say, they took the chance when it came to them on the break. Morgan Gibbs-White to Awoniyi, and his form this season, towards the end of the season, has really helped Nottingham Forest in staying up this campaign in the Premier League, and very deservedly so. And I did say at the beginning of the season, Awoniyi may be one to look out for going forward. And I think he's had a bit of a hit and miss season, mainly because of injury, of course. But he's done brilliantly towards the end, and it's his goals that have ultimately kept Nottingham Forest up in the crunch moments in this season, in this run-in. And like I say, I will talk more about Nottingham Forest, Steve Cooper, and the rest of the club in a video I'm going to make tomorrow in regards to Forest and their Premier League survival. But as far as what Arsenal are concerned, they'll be disappointed with the fall away this season. Of course they will. But this is all about Manchester City. This is all about Pep Guardiola's side, who are today crowned as the Premier League champions. They'll probably get a Guard of Honour tomorrow, Guard of Honour going forward in their final few games of the season. And then, of course, they had to look forward to the FA Cup and the Champions League. Could a historic and phenomenal treble be on the cards this season? Honestly, with the way that City are playing, you wouldn't back against it. Of course, there is the possibility that Pep does a Pep in one of those finals, maybe overthinks it, maybe messes it up somewhere along the way. I know that obviously Man United will not want City to touch the title of being a treble winner that obviously United possess and have possessed since obviously like 1999. So there is an extra bit of incentive there for United to try and stop this City side by any means and anyhow necessary. But at the same time, they've done the three-peat. The Premier League title is City's. They've done the three-peat. Absolutely phenomenal achievement in that aspect. This City side are incredible. And it'll be interesting to see if they can go on and claim all maximum points between now and the end of the campaign to take them to a 94 total, I think. Am I right in thinking that? 94, 96 total, something along those lines, which would be phenomenal for City and phenomenal for Guardiola, especially because there was a lot made about City this season, a lot about how there's a bit of transition, about how there's a fair bit of change that's happening to the squad and to the team. And obviously Guardiola's tweaked things as the season's gone on. He's put John Stones into midfield, obviously signing Erling Haaland. He hasn't really had a proper number 9 striker in the form of someone like a Haaland for a few years. Obviously, Aguero was in and out the squad throughout his time there. And obviously, the past couple of years, Guardiola's resorted to using a false number 9 in that aspect. So there's been a fair bit of change this season for Guardiola to have to contend with. He's also had a lot of off-the-field things happen as well. Some things to sort out, some bad eggs in the dressing room, some issues to sort out with players. João Cancelo instantly springs to mind there. And then, of course, he's had the whole Premier League thing, them trying to get City done for financial cheating and all them kind of matters that are still ongoing. And it's going to be interesting to see if anything does come out about that. But for right now, this is all about City. This is all about how City are progressing, are continuing to develop, continuing to evolve. And the scary part is, like I said, I think I said this in a video earlier this week or sometime last week, this isn't City's final form. This isn't City's final form at all. This is a City side still in transition. This is a City side still looking to continue to go from strength to strength. And the scary part about it is if they can finish with a points tally in the mid-90s in a season which they're still transitioning, in a season in which Erling Haaland's debut season is here, in a season in which Guardiola is continuing to change this City side, modify it somewhat, grow it, evolve it, the scary part is City can get even better. City can get even better. City can continue to grow. They can continue to evolve, and they can continue to get stronger. This season, it might be the treble. Next season, it might be the quadruple. Season after, it might be the quadruple plus the Invincibles. The sky is literally the limit for this team, it seems. And it's going to be a massive question now as to who can stop them. Liverpool managed to a few seasons ago. Liverpool managed to do that a few seasons ago, but it wasn't sustainable because they didn't invest enough. Arsenal tried this season and they led for a large part of the campaign, but again, it wasn't sustainable. Can anyone mount a sustainable challenge to this Man City squad, to this Pep Guardiola side, to obviously go on and put them to the sword, knock them off their perch, knock them off this pedestal that they've got themselves on, topple them in any kind of way? Because this Goliath right now in Man City looks unstoppable and they're only going to get stronger. Yes, they're helped out with massive financial gain, but at the same time, you still need the brains behind the operation to obviously succeed. And Guardiola, for me, is certainly the big brain behind the operation. And he's just got everything down to the finest detail on point. And it's only going to get worse. If you're obviously a rival, it's only going to get worse. If you're obviously someone associated with Man City, it's only going to get better. And for me, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary to think about. It's pretty scary to think about how much more this side could grow. It's scary to think about how much more this side could win. It's pretty scary just to think of the lengths, the accolades, the awards, the achievements, the history that could be written with this Man City side going forward. And it's going to take someone or something really special to obviously topple this City side. But obviously, like I say, today, the day belongs to Manchester City. They are crowned Premier League champions without even kicking a ball this weekend, thanks to obviously Nottingham Forest's 1-0 victory over Arsenal, thanks to Taiwo Awoniyi's only goal of the game, the difference maker on the day. And like I say, whilst it's praise and glory for City, we should also stop and have a special recognition for Nottingham Forest as well. There'll be more coming in the next few days on Forest, not just from me, but I think from everybody in regards to how well they've done this season, how they've managed to stay up, how they've managed to do brilliantly well in that aspect. But we should also recognise them today as be as maintaining their Premier League status, staying up in the division, and obviously producing a brilliant performance by beating Arsenal by 1-0. That saw the final nail go in Arsenal's title hopes and ambitions coffin, and City have been crowned your Premier League champions for the 2022-23 season for the third year in a row. And their season is not over yet. Madness, guys. Absolute madness. Absolute madness of a season. Drawing to a close pretty much. Top four also today pretty much sewn up. Liverpool have got even more of an outside chance than what they did have before. Obviously dropping points to Aston Villa today. Seeing Man United winning. It means that Newcastle need a point on Monday when they face Leicester to obviously secure themselves in the top four. United obviously have a game in hand over Liverpool. It just means that they need a point as well to secure top four. That race is pretty much over. Forest survived today. A late goal by Everton meant that they picked up a point against Wolves. That relegation fight might be going down to the wire. Of course, things can obviously change between now and then. It's going to be interesting to see what Leeds do tomorrow in their game against West Ham. And like I say, what Leicester do in their game on Monday against Newcastle. So that one's going to be interesting. You all right, bro? How you doing? Nice to see you here. My guy. But yeah. It's been a crazy season, and obviously we're going to be talking more and reviewing more of the season as it continues to draw to its conclusion. But yes, at least we know today Forest survive and Manchester City are crowned as the Premier League champions. Just going to have a look at what's happened here. Didn't even watch the Nottingham Forest match. Surprised Arsenal lost. Yeah, Manchester are a powerhouse in the Premier League last few years now. Exactly. Look, Forest's home form is what's kept them up this season. And I did think that maybe they could throw a bit of a spanner in the works with Arsenal today because they were at home. Final home game of the Premier League season. Their fans have been fantastic and phenomenal throughout the entirety of the campaign. And look, they very much deserved it because they were absolutely brilliant today. Didn't really give Arsenal a chance. Gave their backline a torrid time. And yeah, Arsenal just didn't really have an answer to what Forest gave them. Is this a sign of Arsenal maybe falling away for next season? Obviously, time will tell on that. Time will tell on what their plans and ambitions are for the summer and strengthening their squad. Obviously, we kind of know that Granit Xhaka may be leaving. Declan Rice is obviously very much on their radar and has seemingly agreed a move. Now it's all about agreeing a fee. So that one could be interesting to watch as the summer develops and the transfer window approaches. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how Arsenal come back from this and whether they do or not. Because like I say, this could either be a mental thing that stops them from achieving more, maybe, or it could be a learning experience that they may go and build upon. So that one could be very intriguing to me. The time Arsenal looked to have won the league was when Nottingham Forest and Everton draw to them throughout this season. With a player such as Xhaka leaving, as you say, will be interesting to see who they sign for top players in. Leeds or Everton, something to keep an eye on last match of the season. Yeah, like I say, that's pretty much all there is now. The relegation battle is something that is pretty much the only thing to be played for. Top four seems to be done and dusted, barring any major collapse from Manchester United in particular. That one does seem to be that race does seem to be done and dusted and all tied up. It seems like Newcastle and Manchester United will be playing in the Champions League for next season. Liverpool will be in the Europa League, unfortunately. But yeah, the relegation battle is definitely the one to look out for on the final day of the season. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, like you say, City, absolute powerhouse. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone can stop them. If you look over in the Bundesliga, Dortmund could be stopping Bayern this season, which could be very intriguing. But obviously, Bundesliga, Premier League, slightly different kettle of fish, but that one could definitely be one to look out for as well. Bayern lost today, which means that the ascendancy and the advantage is in Dortmund's hands, as they have a game in hand over Bayern that will be played tomorrow. And then, of course, going down to the final game of the season, Dortmund could be above Bayern by that point. So that one could be very intriguing to watch out for as well. And in a similar fashion, the Premier League next season is going to be interesting to look out for because of obviously City winning the Premier League 3 times in a row, having an even bigger target on their back than they would have before. So that one's going to be interesting to see if anybody can topple this absolute Goliath of Pep Guardiola's Manchester City side. But I've got to leave it there, guys. I've got to go. Like I say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of today's games? What do you make of the Premier League as a whole? The Premier League title race, Nottingham Forest surviving, Forest beating Arsenal 1-0. But of course, the main story of today is going to be about Manchester City being crowned the Premier League champions of the 2022-23 season for the 3rd year in a row. Can anyone stop this Pep Guardiola side? I'm sure your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for interesting and great reading down below in the comment section. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. But things are always and very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks live stream. And I will see you all again soon in another video.